He said it's up. Them pretty. You look like Beyonce. Looking like money back, money back, money back, money back, money back, money.
All right, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. The scene from a few moments ago, this crowd enthusiastically cheering on their Texans as they emerge from the locker room. And we're just about ready for football as the Texans get set to match up with the Green Bay Packers. This will be taken in at the 1. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Now a play fake here on first down. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. So he got free of one tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
To throw on second is Watson. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Back to throw, Watson. He finds his target, Fuller. First connection there of the afternoon for those two, and it's good for a first down. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up the first down.
And he'll get this into enemy territory, but not by much as he's down to the 48.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll run it here. This is Deontay Foreman. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It's a 4-yard pickup there, and it leaves him with 3rd and 5.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
From the gun on third, Watson. Hopkins on the ground over the middle. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. And they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. A first down carry down for Miller. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
They'll run it again with Miller. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. It'll only be a gain of a yard, and it sets up a 3rd down and 4 now.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Watson. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. Will Fuller, 30 yards. Texans take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive. Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. Fairbairn now to kick this one away. Rodgers will bring the pack up with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Rodgers now on 1st down. And this is caught. It's Jimmy Graham. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. Now, Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you'd gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, you know, I mean, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to break.
And he is going to wind up losing yardage here, as that will take us to the end of the 1st quarter of play. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. 2nd quarter about to get underway with the Packers in possession of the football, but they face a 2nd and long to start things out. Now they're in some hot water now after that sack. It's 2nd and 21.
319! 319! Let's go, 319.
Rodgers to throw on 2nd down. And he fires one incomplete. He was looking for Ty Montgomery that time. And now it's 3rd down.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. On 3rd and long, it's Rodgers. And this is going to be intercepted. It's the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. It put their defense in a really tough spot.
The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. Now, they'll be looking to duplicate the efforts of drive number 1 that resulted in 7 points in the 7-zip lead.
Well, you know how much I enjoy horse racing, right? Looks like they caught a flyer out of the gate, as they would say when you're running the big-time races. It means they get out to a fast start. They're setting the pace, making the other team chase now.
You mentioned very early on the need to establish a running game for this young QB. They really haven't been able to do that, though, in the first half.
So that means what in halftime? Adjustments time, right? Figure out what they are, figure out the things that they really want to accomplish, and who to run behind. Which is
man, it's caught inside the 10. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. Watson hitting Fuller with a big one, 42 yards. The Texans with the first opportunity now from the red zone. They've got it 1st and goal at the 6. They'll let the power game take over with Cross. And he'll keep working toward that end zone as he's down to about the 2-yard line. That gets him 3 yards closer here as it brings up 2nd and goal. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. They'll try to punch it in with Miller. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down. The Texans on third down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. Here's Miller. No gain on the play that time, so a big stop, and it's going to leave them with a 4th and goal.
And they might think about going for it here, but it's still just the second quarter. Take the 3 points, tell the defense you believe in them, and let them get the ball back for you.
Kaimi Fairbairn now to attempt the Texan field goal. This will be just a 21-yard attempt. The kick by Fairbairn is good. And the lead moves to 10-zip. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they could not punch it in.
And credit the defense, too. Make sure that happens, because that was the old bend but don't break approach. Made sure they contained them when they absolutely had to and forced the field goal attempt that went through.
Trevor Davis now to return. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. As the Packers make their way back out here on offense. And talk about Mr. Davis's trip to Green Bay. You've been doing the camp visits, and you went up to Green Bay. You had a great time, didn't you?
I certainly did, partner, and I went full fan, full historian, Packers lore. So while I was there, I drove to Vince Lombardi's house and kind of communed there for a little while. And the people who lived there, the same family that bought it from the Lombardi family back in late 1960s, still there, and they're used to this. I went by the Union Hotel where the Packers were formed. I went by St. Norbert's College where the Packers used to do the entire training camp. The only thing I haven't done yet, visited Curly Lambeau's gravesite. That's my next visit.
Yo, hey, let's go, come on.
First down, here's the run to Montgomery. And he'll fight his way forward to about the 48-yard line. Benardrick McKinney there to make the stop.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
It gets it over the middle to Cobb. A very solid gain of 27.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
Throwing is Rodgers. And this is going to be intercepted. It's the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Well, we progressed through the preseason, so let's prognosticate about the regular season. NFC.
Can we overanalyze?
Yeah, I want to overanalyze, too.
Right.
NFC, the 4 divisions, who do you have winning them?
Let's start in the East. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, got better in the offseason. I think they win their division again, although Dallas will make a strong run at them.
Okay. The South, you were saying you like Atlanta.
Yeah, I do like Atlanta to get back to the top. Tough division. 3 teams in the playoffs last year. Atlanta, New Orleans, which won the division, and Carolina.
Going west, who do you have out there?
The Rams. They took over for the Seahawks last year. I expect them to stay on the top of the heap. But let's face it, a lot of excitement in San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo.
In the north, can Green Bay overtake Minnesota?
They can, but I don't think that they will. I think the Vikings defense carries them home. Kirk Cousins, their new quarterback. The Packers will challenge in a big way, but keep an eye on Detroit as well.
So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. They come out here with a 0 on the scoreboard. What was said in that locker room? That's what I want to know.
I would love to have been in there because we often have the feeling that there's a lot of shouting, screaming, people upset. But typically, halftime locker rooms are a lot more clinical than that. And in this case, are they upset that the plays weren't working because of execution? Or did they think they were just bad plays to call?
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty quickly here if they feel like they had something going, but they just need to do it a little bit better or not.
We'll find out. Rodgers now on first down. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Randall Cobb, the intended receiver, and that'll bring up second down.
Well, CD, in a couple of weeks we can make our Super Bowl predictions, but for right now, I want to get your AFC Division Champion predictions. Who do you have?
All right, let's start in the AFC East.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. J.J. Watt in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
Now, the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grip.
Under pressure again, and down he goes again. J.J. Watt in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon. Here's J.K. Scott now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. A good kick, 49 yards, just 3 on the return. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10 at about the 32. The drive starts with Foreman on the ground. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield.
So statistically, both of these offenses having a rough time getting a running game going. But boy, what a nice play there defensively.
Tackling him behind the line, but you're right. You look at the numbers. Neither side looks on track in the ground game. And room to run as he's up past the 35-yard line. It's a 7-yard pickup. They'll be looking now to 3rd and 6.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Reset. Check 50. Come back. Check 527.
Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
We've seen good cover skills on display throughout this game, really from both teams. And there's another nice example there of them making it difficult to complete a pass.
Watson going to stay out there as they'll go for it on 4th.
Hey. We got three down.
And now before they run this 4th down play, we're going to get a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter. Here's Shane Leckler now. And the way this offense has moved the ball, he hasn't been needed till here in the 3rd. This is fielded inside the 5. A big boot that time. 57 yards the official distance. And the Packer drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. Rodgers will break the huddle and bring the Pack up 1st and 10 at their own 13. They'll try to get something going with Ty Montgomery. And he's going to lose yardage here back to the 12-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a
blitz coming, and down he goes.
We are seeing 2 really confident defenses imposing their will on these offenses in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, going toe for toe. Just curious if one of these offenses can wake up a little bit.
If there's any way they can find something that can pop, something big to knock them back on their heels.
Hey, 626.
To throw is Rodgers. Throwing on 3rd and long. And that one drops incomplete as he got popped as he was throwing it. The linebacker, Zach Cunningham, there defensively to make that play.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Here's J.K. Scott now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He'll take it at the 42. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Texans with great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. They'll try and get the run game going. This is Miller. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11. Back now in Houston. It's the Texans in control of the football and leading this game as well as we start the 4th. Again, it's Miller. As he's got this down inside the 40 to the 39. 7 yards on the carry. Make it 3rd and 4 coming up. At this stage of the game, with the score where it is, the key here, stay in bounds, and he did just that. Not by a huge margin, but he stayed in.
And those come up in what we like to call winning edge meetings. The things that you have to do, late game situations, kicking situations, doesn't matter what it is, the things you have to do to win a game, and that comes up in that meeting, then you practice it, they've got to be happy to see it executed, being able to stay in bounds and work the clock.
On 3rd down, Miller. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a 1st down. And 5 yards on the play there as the drive will continue.
Brandon, when a defense just simply can't get off the field on 3rd down, and we all know how important that down is for both sides of the ball, you often feel like you're just a step behind whatever they're doing offensively.
And one of the differences in this game, no doubt, 3rd down conversion, and that is going to be a story they'll talk about after this one. Watson hands this to Foreman. A little juke. And now running right through it. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. On the dive, here's the fullback Prosh. Down to the 25. Vanderbilt's own Oren Burks had the tackle defensively.
Normally when you see a short gain in the middle of a 3-4 defense, go ahead and pat the nose tackle on the back because he's holding things up and taking on extra blockers, which allows one of the inside linebackers to roam free and make the tackle.
No run for it here. This is Prosh, the fullback. And he's going to take this one down to about the 23-yard line. It'll be called a gain of 2, and that'll leave him with some options here on 4th and inches. Time for a break. We'll come back to wrap this one up after this. And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on fourth.
Three down. Mike 42.
They will indeed snap it to Watson. And no, it's incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Packers D comes up with a big stop. And he'll have a tough time living that one down. It's one thing, Charles, to drop a pass. It's quite another to drop it on fourth down.
And so many teams work on that in terms of locking in on those key downs. You know, I've seen, you and I both been to practices where we've seen, hey, third down situation, big third down alert, lock in here, fourth down play, make sure you're focused just a little bit extra. It didn't pay off in that situation.
A good pickup there, 26 yards. Clock management, definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case, down a couple of scores, want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
Let's go, come on. Hey, check 26. Hey, check 26. Yeah, Liz.
To throw is Rodgers. And Graham's got it over the middle. And he's brought down. It's a pickup of 15 and a fresh set of downs.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. Two nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? Now Rodgers. And that is incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Here's Rodgers. This is Montgomery with a grab over the middle. And he gets this. A good pick up there of 20 yards. Rodgers now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. Back to throw. Rodgers. This will be caught just inside the 10. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a first down. Now it's Rodgers. And this is caught. Touchdown. Okay, game on. Don't go anywhere yet. You got a one-score game now. Probably going to rely on the onside kick coming up.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a high percentage play, but it's better than not having a chance at all. And that's when you put your leapers and your flyers on one side, get that high hop, and hope that one of the guys can come up with it.
And on the other side, you get that hands team ready.
No doubt about it.
Extra point up and good by Crosby. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. So a little under 50 seconds to go. Plenty of time if they can get this onside kick. And this will be recovered by the Texans. So victory appears to be in sight. A big mistake in that spot. You got to let it go, Tam.
They didn't give themselves a chance. They had an opportunity, touched it first. Now they're in a really bad spot.
Watson going to give this one to Miller. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. And now a timeout coming from the defensive side for the Packers, as he'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game. On second down, here's Miller. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. And now the Packers going to take another timeout as they stop it here with just under 40 seconds to go in the game. On third down, that's Miller. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a fourth down. And now we're going to get a timeout here called by the defense, as the clock will stop with 35 seconds left to go. And here's a big one now. Trying to hold this lead. They're going to go for it here on fourth down.
Black 99, feel it.
Now it's Watson. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Griffin. And unable to break away. They stop him a few yards shy. Bill O'Brien rolls the dice, but to no avail. And the Packers D comes up with a big stop.
Over here. Jump on.
Back to throw. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Let's go. Come on.
Work with me, partner. Take a deep breath, because that's what they're doing down the field now. That incompletion allowed them to exhale a little bit. Get in the huddle, kind of scan the crowd, see if any celebrities are here. Relax a little bit as they start this big drive.
Now a desk, and that's caught inside the 35. And he takes it all the way down to the 32. Rodgers to his tight end, Graham, on a big one. 42 yards. He'll look to throw. He's going to let it fly. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Jonathan Joseph there on the coverage. Certainly would have liked to get some yardage out of that play, but now you got to put this in the hands of your field goal kicker. See if he can get you to overtime. And the 11-year veteran bangs it through, and that it's a little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. This will be taken in at the 1. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. And now out comes Houston. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range.
Under pressure now, Watson. Never giving up. He's able to keep working and get him for a loss of 12. That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. Here's Watson now on 2nd down. And incomplete on the deep ball. Will Fuller was the intended target. And it's 3rd down. Another nice job there defensively. They've really stymied their passing attempts, and it continues in overtime.
And for them to do that, that means they've had to be cohesive on defense. Pressure in the quarterback's face, good coverage of not just the wide receivers, but the tight end, the running backs when they try and slip out.
Oh, and it's intercepted. Kentrell Bryce picks it. Room here to run. And they will score. It's a Packer touchdown. Still catching our breaths from that electric finish. You get an overtime, that's one thing. It was a great 4 quarters. Within an OT, defensive score. Wow.
Oh, definitely. And I think from now on, we're going to definitely travel someone who could help us, because I thought I was going to pass out at the end. Not just getting to the overtime, but the plays in overtime that led to this one, and to finish it on a defensive touchdown, a takeaway that gets into the end zone. I'm not rooting for anyone, but boy, I'd love to see games finish that way.
So that'll do it. For my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry, I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. So long from Houston.